The Stark County Historical Society, which is located in the President William McKinley Memorial and Monument, they just confirmed that the authority on Ohio history that had verified facts that they provided me that were blatantly wrong was Mark Epstein. I said, Mark Epstein. What was his middle name? And she said, Jeffrey. Mark Jeffrey Epstein is who she claims. And I basically said, Miss, this is important because you're crossing over into a level of espionage and manipulation of historical records that are presidential. McKinley. And this is important. And so she agreed. But I look up this Mark Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, he's a Rockefeller entity created. And yes, he oversees the Ohio Historical Society and a lot more than that. Well, they got history wrong and they've absolutely been manipulating it since day one. But since before 9/11, there is a back-end platform integration set up for Mark Jeffrey Epstein and a network of Rockefeller Rothschild spies, double agents, spies, Cold War spies that were here in an effort to claim assets that rightfully, from a legal perspective, did not belong to anyone from an international, multinational perspective. But they also were planning on profiting from an impending terrorist attack on our country. That's where the insurance part is a key factor, goes hand in hand with agriculture. So when you think about agriculture in our country, it does go hand in hand with insurance. A lot of people don't realize that. Farmers Insurance was the first insurance company in the world. They invented the concept. It goes hand in hand with insurance. It does not go hand in hand with big oil. There's no one who is a diehard agricultural scientist who says, let's frack and do away with the Clean Water Act as of 2005. It just doesn't happen. Or let's make Halliburton and international big oil companies exempt from any liabilities, both personal and professionally. It just doesn't happen. The two are separate with conflicting goals and interests. Conflicting goals and interests. Who would have thought that little old me would not only be the authority on Ohio history, but U.S. agricultural history? And so a few key facts for everyone in the United States and world that might not be familiar with Ohio geography. In comparison to New Jersey, Ohio is 6 times larger from a land perspective. It's also referred to as the heart of it all, while Jersey is often referred to as the armpit of America. And that's what it's a tattoo of Jersey on the armpit there. So this is just a quick comparison snapshot of New Jersey versus Ohio. Well, see, it's New Jersey that dating back all the way to the 1920s was ground zero for cooperative farm and U.S. agricultural schemes. That's because they go hand in hand with Standard Oil, assuming the identity of Cooperative Farm Bureau owners and an intent to hijack American agriculture, U.S. insurance, and U.S. energy. That's 100% of Gulf oil, coal, oil, gas, uranium. And that's why the Bush family and anyone that's part of this scheme had to have their trust set up blindly offshore because they were and always have been a conflict of interest. They lead to nothing but death and destruction for Americans and citizens all over the world. It becomes uber important when you look into the U.S. Historical Society and see how it was amended and manipulated to be in the category of firearms ahead of 9/11. It also claims ownership to a slew of U.S. trademarks, and wait till you see them. In addition to George Washington, the trademark for George Washington, they are hell-bent on securing the trademarks for centennial and bicentennial for a reason. Dating all the way back to the 1800s, centennial, from a trademark perspective, was used by the Rockefellers both for savings and loans companies and entities, all the way to the Continental Club and the Continental Oil Company. They did this in line with Continental Cooperative Farms being developed in the United States. And so Centennial has always gone hand in hand with the Rockefeller plot, and which is why you'll often see historical records destroyed or missing. But let me tell you, they come back to life in Centennial Club, Centennial St. John's Club. They are all private drilling partnerships and private Standard Oil agreements to liquidate assets from the U.S. Farmers Trust offshore covertly, along with securities, Centennial securities. These are all converted from historically canceled entities. In the end, it's Roche Bakery Products, aka Roche Products Company, that is reinstated out of the same address as the American Farm Bureau, backdated. And when doing so, it's claiming ownership of all of these historical trademarks: Sheepherder, Hillbilly, Country Hearth. But Stone Mill Farms, Country Farms, and you're going to see a lot of U.S. mills and grain and bread. Absolutely always among the top targets as far as U.S. agricultural trademarks, and boy, did they manipulate it from day one. They call us hillbillies. This is the UK and the Royals, who, in addition to Bicentennial, see this? They hijacked our whole brand. They replaced our U.S. grain with less nutritious versions. And here are the trademarks that they roll up. But not just that, they include Bicentennial and McKinley. That's right. So we got George Washington, William McKinley, and all of these highly restricted U.S. trademarks being manipulated by who? By who? That would be the UK. The UK acting as Standard Oil interest holders of U.S. agricultural land and mineral rights that they never owned, but always planned to come back for and hijack. Always.